And the big mistake that he did was he jumped right into his presentation, which he memorized word for word without using that simple trick. I'm Ricky. I talk about the unspoken rules at work so that you can go from overthinking to navigating through it effectively without losing yourself along the way. The next time you're presenting to executives or senior management, you have to remember that they're not listening for completeness. This is not a school exam where they're testing you on every single thing that you know. You're probably a very highly capable person. You probably know all of the answers to the questions that they may ask you, but that's not what they're listening for. The faster you talk and the more information you share, the less executives hear you. The unspoken rule is this: when you're presenting to executives or senior management, whether it's you trying to convince them of something or you're sharing some proposals with them, what they're listening for is not completeness. They're listening for relevance. Relevance to what's in it for them. Why does it matter to them? What's the purpose of you sharing all of this information? And I'm sure this sounds familiar, where you start talking faster because you feel a little bit nervous and you start sharing a bunch of data. You start pulling from this and you start pulling from that because when you were preparing for this presentation, you came with a bunch of data and information that you were anticipating the executives would ask you. That is not doing yourself any favors, especially within the first 1 minute of your presentation. Within that 1 minute of your presentation, you have to be able to hook them. And the secret of how you do that is not by starting with facts. It's not by starting with, here's what I propose. It's actually acknowledging something about them that they care about. It could be something as simple as, I know it's so stressful right now because everybody has budget cuts. That could be an acknowledgement. That shows that you actually understand what it is they're going through. And based on my psychology background, because I studied psychology before becoming a finance executive in the corporate world, that is gold to the human mind. Human brains, especially executives who sometimes carry big egos with them, want to know that you see them, that you hear them, that you understand where they're coming from. They may not tell you from the get-go. That's why this is an unspoken rule. But the thing is, from the moment you enter that meeting, from the moment you open your mouth, they're already looking to make a judgment call on whether or not you are worthy of them listening to you, whether or not you have value for them. So the most important thing that you can do within the first minute of presenting to any executive or senior management is to make sure that you share something of value to them. And that something of value doesn't always have to be information. It can be a form of acknowledgement, just to make sure that they know that you've done your homework, that you know who you're talking to, and that you understand where they're coming from. That's all. And from there, you can then shift into the rest of the presentation that you prepared, probably very diligently. You probably have a lot of bullet points and talking points. And remember, the key thing is the amount of time that you think you will have to present to an executive, cut that in half. That's usually how it always goes. If you have 30 minutes for a meeting, for example, prepare content for 15 minutes because chances are there's going to be questions midway. There's going to be the first 5 minutes or so of kind of working through the meeting, and you already lose time there. So the biggest mistake that I see people making when they're presenting to executives and senior management is they jam-pack their entire agenda and their entire presentation to the point where it loses that two-way dialogue and that two-way conversation. Unless you truly want it to be an inform and a presentation where you are the only one speaking and sharing information, which is rare, I advise against that because you almost always, whenever you're talking to executives and senior management, want their input, whether it's real time or whether it's dedicated time at the end for their questions. You should always, always bake in time for that, so that they feel as though they're involved and they're part of this discussion as opposed to just you speaking at them, especially if you haven't followed that golden rule that I shared, which is the first 1 minute, you have to make sure that you bring something of value to them. And that value could be valuable information that they may not know already, or chances are just simply acknowledging who they are, where they're at, what they're experiencing right now. A simple acknowledgement can really set you up for success. And on the flip side, if you jump right into the presentation without any acknowledgement, I've seen that derail people, unfortunately, and that's when executives and senior management shuts down And the worst thing that could happen, this actually happened when I sat in on a presentation before. The executive just said, "Why am I even here?" That person who was presenting completely turned red, went silent, and their manager had to jump in and save the meeting because that person went mute. He wasn't able to come back from that. He wasn't prepared for that. And the big mistake that he did was he jumped right into his presentation, which he memorized word for word, without using that simple trick of acknowledging the person in front of you. Most career advice ignores the psychology behind it, but that's why I'm here, because I studied psychology. So I understand that career growth is not just about skills, it's about perception, and perception follows psychology. If this video resonated with you and you want more practical career guidance grounded in how people actually think and behave at work, then subscribe. See you next time.